I don't wanna lose my balance when I'm staring at stars. I just wanna believe that we're better than we are.
Yeah, what's going on? ODC back again, looking at another Raid Shadow Legends video. So last time we looked at Farmable Champions, but we only got some of them done. Today we're going to do part 2 of that one. So let's run into the index and see who we got. So with this one, we're covering stages in the campaign. Let's have a look. Right, we're looking at the Farmable Champions available from stage 5 up to stage 8. So that's Felwyn's Gate up to Valdemar Strait. All right, let's see what we got. Right, so the first champion we've got available is in the Ogren tribes, and that is Rocktooth. Right, now Rocktooth is an attack-based champion. He's A1, attack one enemy, places an extra hit if the attack's critical. A2, attack all enemies, places a 15% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 1 turn. And his most useful ability is his A3, attacks 1 enemy, places 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So that's quite a high cooldown, down to a 3-turn cooldown. Heal reduction, good for certain dungeons. If I remember rightly, the Spirit dungeon, where the boss heals every turn, something like that. So he could be useful for that if you've got no one else. Again, the Farmable Champion, gonna be decent within his kind of means, but yeah, if you can avoid it. I haven't really come across too many Rocktooths that have been built up. So that's Rocktooth in the Ogren tribe. The next one we have, I think there's 2 of them in High Elves. Right, okay, so the first one is going to be, where is she? Is this her? Yeah, so this is the champion Avenger, High Elf, attack based. The A1 attacks 1 enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense. So not the worst thing in the world. The decreased defense is the smaller version, but it's better than nothing if you don't have anything else. The A2 attacks at random 2 times, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So you could build her with lower crit, and that would make up for it. Don't know how hard that hits, but it's probably okay. Haven't really tried out many of these guys. Again, based on attack, and you can bring the cooldown down to 2, which might be significant. And the A3 is attack 1 enemy. This skill always inflicts a critical hit. Damage based on attack, so fatal below level 1, 5 turn cooldown, sorry, and that's always going to be a critical hit. And lastly, she has an aura which increases ally attack in faction crypts by 17%. So Avenger's not bad. One of them where she's got uses. You could probably use her better than Rocktooth. So that is Avenger, the High Elf. The next one we're looking at is Eris. Let's have a look. So Eris is another High Elf. I actually have used this one more so. Right, so at A1, she's actually okay. She's a force-based attack champion. So she attacks 1 enemy, grants an extra turn if target's killed. So if you were to do an AoE and then she comes in, she can just clean up one after the other if it sets up like that. So that's how I've used her. Her A2 removes 1 random debuff from all allies, 60% chance of placing an increased speed, 30% increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. So a bit of utility there. She's got a passive, which is counterattacks the attacker when an ally is attacked, and that's a 1-turn cooldown. So that again can be alright. And her aura, she gives you a speed of 16% in dungeons. So Eris, again, not bad. Wouldn't recommend, but again, there's worse champions than Eris. So she's actually not that bad. So some of these ones are actually good. If you want to use them for faction wars, those last 2, Avenger and Eris, could be pretty useful. So coming out of there, we next have another champion. Now it's from the Orcs. Now this one is this one here, Gore Mask. Now Gore Mask is one of them ones I tend to see very often just from popping up from summons and so on. Right, let's have a look. So attacks one enemy 2 times, so 2 hit A1. You would think that's good, but I think the champion's garbage. But hey, attacks one enemy, damage increased by 20% if the attack is critical. And A3 is attack one enemy, will ignore shield and block damage buffs. So that's actually probably a good ability from the sound of things. So that could do damage, but it depends on how much damage he can potentially do. Not a champion that I would say is worth much investment, but hey, if you like it, you like it. It also has a 25% HP aura for arena. So maybe because he ignores shield and block damage buffs, maybe, but I've never really seen him in arena. So yeah, that's up to you if you really want him. If you like dogs to that extent where you actually want to build these characters who look like this, then fair play to you. Right, and the last one we're looking at today in this particular video is another one that pops up fairly often, and that's going to be the defensive based Sacred Order champion Templar. Now with Templar, quite an interesting one. If he's built, if you take him to 60, but again, you take a lot of champions to 60, that can be a problem. But I've had issues with this guy in arena before, level 61, that just gave me grief. But again, my team probably wasn't good enough. But yeah, so he's A1, let's get into it. Attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Damage inflicted is proportional to his defense, and because he's a defense-based champion, you can get that up quite a bit, make him tanky, and it will increase the how hard he hits. His A2 attack 4 times at random. Each hit has a 25% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. Again, damage is proportional to defense. So yeah, not a bad ability there either. The passive for him attacks with this champion's default skill whenever an enemy places a debuff on this champion, so he'll retaliate. Okay, so attacks with this champion's default skill whenever an enemy places a debuff. So if you place a debuff on him, he will hit you with his A1. So that's going back to that, and he could obviously apply the decreased speed if he does that. And lastly, he's got an aura, a resist aura, which adds 50 to your resistance for arena. So those are the champions we'll be covering today. Let me know what you think. If you've built any of these champions or find any of them useful, hit me up in the comments below. I think these ones aren't that bad. I think maybe about 3 of them could be worth maybe having. Again, a lot of these champions could come in handy for faction wars and maybe any other content coming up, because they're going to have use somewhere. But I'd say Templar could be the best out of that bunch. But again, them high elves aren't bad either. But anyway, hit me up, leave a little comment, a like, subscribe. ODC, I'm out.